Hello, and welcome back to another video. This is the second episode. Naruto was unfamiliar with luck. And when Naruto gets lucky, it doesn't go well. When Naruto is beaten on a stormy night, something strange happens. Lightning struck Naruto, but he survived. Remember to like and subscribe. Let's get this party started, shall we? Naruto was currently sitting on top of the Hokage's tower. Since he had been struck by lightning, he had found high places very relaxing. It has been 6 months since Naruto had asked Miniaka to start training him. It was one of the best and worst decisions in his life. He had grown greatly in the areas of speed and stealth. But each day he would go home dead tired. After Naruto managed to run around the village once without getting caught, Miniaka had stepped up his training. He now had to run around the village in under 30 minutes while not getting caught by any guards or any other summons Naruto had forced to summon. If he was caught by the summons, they were to attack him as punishment. This task has proven very difficult for Naruto. Monioka was not joking about the other Panther's stealth. Naruto used to go home each day with claw marks and scars running across his skin. Fortunately Kyuubi managed to heal them. Other than stealth and speed, Naruto had also improved in his electric powers. He was now able to slightly reduce and greatly increase the size of his electromagnetic field. This allowed him to attract different types of metals and stop them just inches from his body. Naruto had also started to learn techniques based off of his electricity. He was just starting to be able to manifest the electricity into different shapes. He was currently trying to manifest it into a whip. Naruto had also made a little progress with his sword. Mionaka managed to teach Naruto the basic stances that any kenjutsu users needed to know. She had also taught Naruto to channel his chakra into his sword. Naruto was now just using his sword in his taijutsu. Of course Naruto learned all of this outside of the academy. To Naruto the academy was an entire waste of time. He had learned nothing that pertained to him becoming a better ninja. All he learned was basic history, math and science. But unfortunately Naruto had to attend it to appease Hiruzen. The only thing that was bad with Naruto was Kyuubi. He would constantly talk to Naruto through their mental link. These talks would usually include Kyuubi trying to convince Naruto to destroy the village and kill the villagers, or how he was going to tear him limb from limb as soon as he escaped. Today was October 10th. It was a Thursday, but Naruto was out of school. It was because today was the celebration of the defeat of the Kyuubi. Later that afternoon the villagers would throw a festival celebrating the 4th Hokage and his victory over the Kyuubi. Now most people in the village enjoyed this festival. Unfortunately Naruto was not one of these people. He was banned from attending the festival, and if he did, bad things happened. But today was different from Naruto. Unknown to most people, October 10th was Naruto's birthday. Usually Naruto would lock himself in his room at the orphanage while the festival went on. But today Naruto was actually attending a party thrown by Hiruzen. This was his first party and he was really excited. Naruto continued to stare down on the villagers as they continued to prepare for the festival. It seemed like this one was going to be very wild. 6 hours later. Adults dancing, children laughing and playing, shinobi drinking, and everybody was having a good time. The streets of Konoha were filled with joy. Today they were celebrating the defeat of the Kyuubi. Mirth was all around the village as different acts and plays depicted the defeat of the Kyuubi, each one more outrageous than the other. It seemed like everybody in the village was outside enjoying themselves. But that was not true. 3 individuals were in the Sarutobi clan home. These 3 individuals were Hiruzen Sarutobi, Asuma Sarutobi, and Naruto Uzumaki. These 3 were currently celebrating Naruto's birthday. "Make a wish, Naruto-kun," Hiruzen said. "I wish I could kill you right now," Kyuubi said. "Shut up. It's my birthday," Naruto thought. Naruto closed his eyes and blew out his 6 candles. Asuma and Hiruzen applauded him. They then presented the 2 presents they got him. "Here you go, Naruto-kun," Hiruzen said. Naruto took the small box and unwrapped it carefully and slowly. He didn't want to break it because this was one of the first presents he had ever gotten. After unwrapping the box and opening, Naruto took out 2 gloves. Well, they were more like gauntlets considering the fact that it was mostly metal. These are to help you with your electric powers. The metal is highly sensitive to metal. So when you punch with them you can channel your lightning chakra through them, Hiruzen said. Naruto started in amazement at the new gloves. He put them on and immediately found they were too big. But suddenly he felt a prick on his arm and the gloves started to glow in a blue light. They then shrunk to fit snugly onto Naruto's hands. The gloves inside are lined with seals that help maintain their condition. It also has a seal that makes them shrink and grow according to your hand size. That prick you felt, was it taking your blood? Now nobody but yourself will be able to use them, Hiruzen said. Naruto ran up and hugged Hiruzen for his new gift. Hiruzen chuckled and then returned the hug. After several seconds Naruto let go of the hug and ran to Asuma. Asuma presented his gift to Naruto. Naruto once again carefully unwrapped the gift again. His face split into a grin when he saw what the box contained. The box contained several sets of brand new kunais, shuriken, and senbon. Each weapon had a different design that made them look amazing. Naruto ran up and hugged Asuma for the gift. Asuma laughed and returned the hug to Naruto. Once the hug was over, Hiruzen sealed Naruto's new weapons in a scroll. Naruto refused to take off the gloves, saying that they were too comfortable. Hiruzen and Asuma just chuckled at his possessiveness. "Hey Naruto, how would you like to go out into the festival?" Asuma asked. Naruto suddenly stopped and took on a thinking look. Usually he would try to avoid the festival in fear that something bad would happen. But with his training and with Asuma and Hiruzen, he doubted that anything bad would happen. "Sure," Naruto said. Asuma grinned and led Naruto out of the house with Hiruzen in tow. As soon as they stepped outside, Hiruzen was swept away by a wave of drunk villagers. Asuma and Naruto decided to go without him. The first thing Asuma took him to was game booth. The object of the game was to try to knock down 5 bottles that were stacked on top of each other. Asuma gave the booth runner 5 yen for 5 balls. The balls were old and worn out. But they were perfect for Naruto. Naruto picked up the first ball and drew back his arm. His arm then shot forward, sending the ball in a bullet-like path. The ball crashed into the 5 bottles and sent them crashing to the floor. The ball crashed into the wall and fell to the floor. Naruto let out a cheer when he saw that he had won. The owner reluctantly gave Naruto his prize. It was a mini Kyuubi doll with its eyes as X's. Naruto handed it to Asuma, who sealed it into the seal that contained Naruto weapons. Naruto and Asuma decided to try another booth. When they arrived, Asuma once again paid the man that ran the booth. The man was about to give Naruto the darts but then got a closer look at his face. He immediately put the darts down and threw the money back at Asuma. "We do not serve as kind here," the man said with disgust in his voice. Asuma looked in anger at what the man said. Naruto also looked evenly as angry. "My father will be hearing about this," Asuma said. "Just get away from my stand, demon lover," the booth owner said. Naruto and Asuma walked away from the booth in anger. The next hour was filled with them trying different booths and getting the same reaction as before. Now it seemed that everybody had gotten aware of Naruto's presence at the festival and all eyes seemed to be on him. What is he doing here? Why is Asuma leading it around? That demon shouldn't be here. Those were just some of the whispers that managed to reach the ears of Naruto. And you wonder why I want to kill them, Kyuubi said. Naruto was progressively starting to regret coming to the festival. It had started off great with him winning his first game, but now the villagers were throwing him harsh glares. These seemed to be harsher than usual. "Asuma-san, let's get out of here," Naruto said. Asuma looked down and frowned when he saw the upset look on Naruto's face. He slowly nodded and started to lead Naruto back to the Sarutobi compound. About halfway there, a wall of angry-looking civilians met them. "Asuma-san, while I do respect you and your father, I have to ask why you are escorting this boy around?" a civilian said. Asuma's eyes narrowed slightly. "Unfortunately, Hirobi-san, that is none of your business. Now if you would excuse us, we have somewhere to go today," Asuma said. Asuma took a step forward, yet the wall of civilian did not move. Asuma's eyes once again narrowed. "Unfortunately, Asuma, I cannot allow you to walk that boy around. It is an insult to all of the lives that were lost years ago," Hirobi said. "I don't know why it is an insult, because this boy had nothing to do with those deaths. I know your ignorance and stupidity sometimes make that hard for you to see," Asuma said with a slight smirk on his face. Hirobi growled and took a step forward. He started to reach for Naruto but had his hand swatted away by Asuma. "Give me the boy, Asuma. You know what he did to this village. How can you just let this demon run around the village as if he didn't do anything?" Hirobi said. Asuma remained quiet for several seconds before his knives appeared in his hands. "You just broke a law that is punishable by death. Now die," Asuma said before slashing at Hirobi's neck. Her boy fell to the ground clutching his neck. Blood started to run over his hands. Asuma silently stepped around the dying Hirobi and continued to lead Naruto back to the Sarutobi compound. The wall of civilians broke apart when they saw the dying Hirobi. "Ah, the sight of blood is so beautiful," Kyuubi said. After several minutes they finally arrived at the compound. Asuma led Naruto back to his room and wished him good night. Naruto quickly fell to sleep. Asuma noticed that the light in his father's office was on, so he decided to tell him about the recent event. Asuma walked into the office to see Hiruzen going through a massive pile of paperwork. "Hello Tosan," Asuma said. Hiruzen looked up and smiled when he saw Asuma was back. "Hey Asuma-kun. How did you and Naruto enjoy the festival?" "I trust that nothing bad happened," Hiruzen said. Asuma's face took on a frown when he heard this. Everything was actually going well. Naruto had managed to win at one of the booths and got a prize. "We decided to go to another booth to see if he could win another. Unfortunately the owner refused to serve Naruto," Asuma said. Hiruzen frowned when he heard this. He would have to personally talk to that booth owner. The next hour was us just getting the same response from different people. We decided to leave but was confronted by several civilians. One of them foolishly called Naruto a demon. At that point I slashed his throat for disobeying your law," Asuma said. Hiruzen's frown became even deeper when he heard this. It seemed like Naruto's birthday had just been ruined by the stupidity of the villagers. Hiruzen stood up and walked to the window of his office. He had a good view of the village. The celebration and parties were still going on. One day these villagers will push him too far. When that point comes I fear for Naruto in our village. "Mostly our village," Hiruzen said. Asuma agreed and said goodbye to Hiruzen. He walked out of the office leaving Hiruzen alone. "Why can't you all learn?" Hiruzen seemed to be asking the village. The next day, Naruto woke up, excited to test out his new weapons and gloves. The events of last night were completely gone. Today they were dismissed from the academy so he had all day to train. Naruto immediately went charging into Asuma's room. He stood at the door and tried to listen if anybody was awake. After hearing nothing, he shrugged. Naruto raised his foot and kicked the door open. Two figures suddenly shot out of the bed. Both of the figures looked tired and frazzled. Naruto immediately recognized Asuma but did not recognize the women. From what he could see she had black hair with red eyes. She looked to have a good figure from behind the covers. "Naruto, why did you bust into my room?" Asuma asked. "Well, you were the last one to have my scroll with my weapons. I just wanted to practice with them," Naruto said. Asuma sighed in relief and then looked at the woman with an apologetic look. She nodded in understatement. Asuma got out of the bed with only his underwear on. Naruto followed him to his closet where Asuma pulled out his scroll. "Just channel chakra into the scroll and all your stuff will come out," Asuma said. Naruto nodded and then started to talk out of the room. He got to the doorway and suddenly stopped. He slowly turned around with a large smile on his face. "I didn't know you had a girlfriend, Asuma." "I'm sure Oji-san would love to hear about this," Naruto said. Asuma and the women paled when they heard this. It seemed they both wanted their relationship to remain a secret. "Naruto, you can't tell anyone about this," Asuma said. Naruto's smirks widened to a full-out blown grin. His eyes contained a mischievous look in them. "If you want me to stay quiet, you are going to have to pay," Naruto said. "Ask for the woman." "I wouldn't mind raping her," Kyubi said. Asuma sighed and then went back into his closet. He came out with a scroll. "This scroll contains 3 Raten Jutsus. Is this enough?" Asuma said. Asuma got his answer when Naruto snatched the scroll out of his hand and bolted out of the room. "Have fun with Kurenai-chan, Asuma," Naruto shouted out from the hallway. Asuma sighed and then jumped back into the bed. Kurenai still seemed to be in shock at Naruto's appearance. "So that's Naruto?" Kurenai said in shock. Asuma nodded. "He seems very hyper," Kurenai said. Asuma nodded once again. With Naruto, Naruto ran on top of the many buildings of Konoha. Today he was free from training from Miyonaka. It seemed like the Jaguar clan was having a meeting. So Naruto was trying to find a place to train with his new powers. "Keep going straight," Kyubi suddenly said. Naruto seemed confused at the sudden talk but nonetheless decided to follow it. He continued going straight. As he continued he noticed that the building seemed to become less and less frequent. After 5 minutes Naruto finally arrived at his location. In front of him stood a gigantic gate that seemed to run along for miles. "What is this place?" Naruto asked to himself. "This is the Forest of Death. The plant and wildlife have grown to massive proportions due to Hashirama's residue chakra. When I attacked 6 years ago, my chakra sped up the process so the animals in here should be extremely dangerous. This is your survival training," Kyubi said. Naruto gulped in fear when he heard this. Now Naruto was confident in his skills to a certain extent. But now he was about to face animals and creatures that have been infected by Kyubi's and the first Hokage's chakra. This was going to be hard. "Well, get in there, brat. No time like today," Kyubi said with mirth in his tone. Naruto groaned and then jumped over the massive fence. He landed on the ground, crouched in a defensive position. He stood still as his eyes tried to take in as much as they could. Once he made sure nothing was about to attack him his stance relaxed. Naruto slowly began to walk through the forest. He could hear the wildlife around him but couldn't see them. He could also see the effects of Kyuubi's and the first Hokage's chakra. He could see gigantic spider web and bird's nest. Squirrels the size of a man scurried along the forest floor. It was very weird for Naruto. Naruto was still making his way through the forest when he heard a crack come from behind him. He turned around quickly and saw a gigantic spider flying towards him. Naruto used his speed to slide onto the gigantic spider. The spider landed and then turned around to Naruto. Naruto could see all 8 of its eyes staring at him intently. Naruto grinned and then held up his gloves. Sparks started to come flying off of him. The spider let out a hiss before flying back at Naruto. Naruto stood still and waited for the spider to get close. He quickly sidestepped it and punched the spider in its body. The spider went flying sideways into a tree. The spider wobbled back onto its feet and seemed to be dazed. It shook its head before suddenly sent a spider web at Naruto. Naruto, surprised by the speed of the spider web, took a direct hit by it. The spider web roughly slammed him into a tree and stuck him to it. The spider began scurrying towards Naruto while Naruto struggled to escape. The spider finally got close to Naruto and opened its mouth to eat Naruto. Naruto could see the rows of teeth and the spit that was in the spider's mouth. Naruto started to grunt as he channeled chakra around his body. The sparks started to come off of his body more visibly. Suddenly the web burst forward with a flash of heat and electricity. The spider let out a hiss as it was hit by the heat and electricity. Naruto fell to the ground as he was freed from the web. He walked up to the slightly smoking and twitching. He walked up the spider and raised his hand. He slammed it into the spider's head, ending its life. Naruto stood up with a sigh. He was glad that was over. Naruto suddenly gasped when he heard several hissings from behind him. He turned around and saw over 20 spiders heading towards him. Naruto gulped when he saw the massive amount of spiders. "I bet you planned this," Naruto thought to Kyuubi. "Maybe," Kyuubi said teasingly. "Why does it have to be spiders? Why can't it be butterflies or flowers?" Naruto said out loud. Naruto started to channel his chakra to his hand and charged at the spiders. The spiders all hissed at him and started to charge at him. Naruto reached the first spider and sent an uppercut that launched the spider up into the air. Naruto immediately had to dodge several balls of webs that weren't sent his way. Naruto ducked and rolled as tons of spider webs were sent flying his way. He stood out of his roll and raised his hand. A lightning bolt came flying out his. The lightning flew true through the air and hit a spider. The spider fell to the ground dead. Naruto unsealed his new kunai and held them in his hands. Several spiders were running towards him. Naruto threw the kunai and they flew through the air. The kunai hit the spiders and sent them to the ground. They slowly got back up and continued running towards Naruto. But meanwhile Naruto was going through hand signs. "Lightning release, chain lightning," Naruto yelled out. Naruto raised his hand and a bolt of lightning shot out of it again. It hit the nearest spider right where the kunai was. It fell to the ground twitching. Instead of stopping there, the lightning continued to the next spider that had a kunai in it. The lightning continued this pattern before it discharged when there were no more remaining spiders. Naruto huffed and looked at the remaining spiders. They all seemed really pissed at him. He smirked and then started to taunt the spiders. "What? Are you too scared now? Ha! You spiders are pathetic," Naruto said. The spiders stood still as Naruto continued to taunt them. Unknown Naruto, their queen spider, was currently standing behind Naruto. And Naruto had just killed some of her children. "I guess I showed those spiders a thing or two," Naruto said. The queen spider's shadow slowly consumed Naruto. Naruto remained unaware of the danger. Naruto heard a giant hiss come from behind him. He slowly turned around to see a humongous spider. It was bigger than all the rest of the spiders. "Aw shit," Naruto said. The spider let out one more hiss before charging at Naruto. Naruto was about to jump back but remembered that he still had other spiders behind him. Naruto jumped up and landed on top of the queen spider's head. The spider looked up in confusion as Naruto ran along its body. The smaller spider jumped onto the queen spider in an attempt to get Naruto. Naruto looked back and noticed that the other spiders were now chasing after him. He skidded to a stop and faced the remaining spiders. He started to go through hand signs and then slammed his hands onto the spider's back. "Lightning release, discharge," Naruto said. Sparks came flying off of Naruto's hand and onto the queen spider's back. The sparks traveled to the running spiders. 2 of the 10 spiders jumped into the air to avoid the electricity. The remaining 8 were electrocuted. His jutsu also had the effect of stunning the queen spider. The queen spider fell to the ground as its legs gave out under it. Naruto and the spider were sent tumbling. Naruto got up and looked up at the two remaining spiders. Naruto unsheathed his sword. He drew his arm back and sent the sword flying. The sword flew through the air at high speeds. The dazed spider had no chance to dodge the sword as it sank into his stomach. The spider fell down dead as the blade rattled in its stomach. The last remaining spider hissed angrily as its last comrade lay dead beside it. The spider began to charge at Naruto with intense speed. Naruto lay still with a smirk on his face. The spider got closer and closer as Naruto stood still. Suddenly, when the spider was about 10 feet away from Naruto, Naruto's chakra exploded outward. Sparks could be seen flying from his skin. The spider was momentarily shocked by the sudden explosion of chakra but still continued its charge. Naruto still waited patiently with a smirk as the spider came closer. The spider suddenly lunged to kill Naruto. But had Naruto's sword suddenly pierced through its head. The sword cut completely through the spider's head before flying into Naruto's hand. Naruto smirked and then yelled in excitement. "Electromagnetic pull is so awesome," Naruto said to himself. Naruto was suddenly thrown off of the spider's body by its sudden movement. He roughly slammed into the ground as the queen spider scurried away. Naruto looked in confusion as the queen spider ran away. He shrugged in defeat when he saw there was nothing to do. "Well, that was exciting," Naruto said. Naruto walked towards the dead bodies of the spider and collected his kunai. They seemed to shake out of the bodies and zip towards Naruto. Naruto would catch them in mid-air before putting back into his holster. Naruto was walking back to the entrance of the forest with a confident smile on his face. He had faced a powerful enemy and managed to defeat it. He only wished that he were able to fight that big spider. Naruto suddenly stopped as he heard a whizzing through the air. Suddenly 3 kunai buried themselves in the tree that was right in front of him. He suddenly felt a prick on the back of his neck. "Now what is a brat like you doing in my forest?" a feminine voice said from behind Naruto. Naruto stood completely still as the kunai was pressed into his skin. He could feel it trying to go deeper and deeper into him. "I was just out training," Naruto said nervously. Naruto closed his eyes, hope that the excuse would work. Naruto suddenly felt himself spin and he was slammed ruthlessly into a tree. He opened his eyes and then they widened in surprise. "Hey! You're that girl that saved me from the villagers once," Naruto said in surprise. "Stun her, tear the clothes from her bodies and rape her. I demand it," Kyuubi said. Now that Naruto got a clear look of the woman, he recognized her. Sei had light brown pupilless eyes and violet hair, which was styled in a short, spiky fanned ponytail. She has a tan overcoat and a fitted mesh bodysuit that stretches from her neck to her knees. She was also wearing dark orange miniskirt. Naruto could see her forehead protector through her hair. He could also see she had a snake pendant hanging from her neck. The girl squinted her eyes at Naruto when she heard him talk. She stared intently for several seconds before her eyes widened. "Gaki!" Anko suddenly said before wrapping Naruto in a very powerful hug. Naruto was smashed into the girl's developing breasts. Instead of resisting, Naruto gave into the hug and was crushed between the girl's breasts. After several seconds of pleasure, for Naruto, the woman released Naruto from the hug and held him from arm lengths. "I haven't seen you since that day I saved you. Have you gotten your ass kicked lately?" Anko asked Naruto. Naruto chuckled at the light insult. "Actually no. I have been training so that won't happens again. If I do say so myself, I think I'm pretty strong," Naruto said with a proud look on his face. Anko laughed and let Naruto fall to the ground. She then looked at the bodies of the dead spiders and whistled in appreciation. "It looks like you did a number on those spiders," Anko said. Naruto puffed his chest out in pride when he heard Anko regarding his work. "So Gaki, do you have anything planned for the day?" Anko asked with a mischievous tone. "Actually, after fighting those spiders I am done for today," Naruto said with a tired tone. Anko's face suddenly took on a massive grin before grabbing Naruto's arm and running through the forest while dragging Naruto with her. "Well, you're treating me to Dengo," Anko said. Naruto sighed and decided to just go with the flow. 10 minutes, Naruto looked in amazement as Anko wolfed down plates of Dengo. It was almost on par with the amount of ramen Naruto eats himself. Anko finished the last stick of Dengo on her plate before sitting back with a content smile. She shot back up and looked at Naruto with an intense look. "So how have you been, Gaki? I heard you messed up some Genin civilians. That's really impressive for a brat like yourself," Anko said with a smirk on her face. Naruto grinned in pride when he heard the news. "Well, this brat you're looking at is going to be the strongest ninja in the world soon," Naruto said. Anko laughed at Naruto's bold proclamation. The two then sat there talking for an hour, enjoying themselves. Suddenly 3 ninja entered the Dango bar. Each one of them were Jinan and seemed to be Anko's age. They all walked up to the bar and started to order Dango. While waiting they turned around to look who was in the bar. Their eyes fell onto Anko and Naruto and they all smirk. They collectively got up and approached the table. Naruto and Anko were still talking and eating Dango, unaware of the 3 approaching Jinan. The 3 Jinan arrived at the table and stood in front of it. Naruto and Anko still talk, unaware of the presence of the 3 Jinan. One of the Jinan started to get impatient and slammed his hand onto the table. "Hey snake bitch! I knew you didn't have any friends, but I never knew you would stoop so low as to hang with the demon," the Jinan said. "Are you going to let these idiots insult your woman?" Kyubi said. Naruto and Anko looked up at the obviously stupid Jinan. Anko fist clenched when she saw whom it was. "Kinchi! Leave me the fuck alone!" Anko gritted out. The newly named Kinchi laughed at Anko's anger. He then leaned down and started to talk into Anko's face. "What are you going to do about it if I don't? You know you can hit me. You traitor of a master made sure of that. All you can do is cry and sit down like the bitch." Kenshi was interrupted by Naruto's fist into his face. He was rocketed out the F stand and into the streets. "Don't you ever talk about Anko-chan like that," Naruto yelled. The 2 remaining Jinan looked in shock as Naruto's fist crackled with electricity. The 2 snapped out of their shock before pulling out their kunais. Naruto grinned and then increased his chakra. The 2 Jinan's kunai started to shake in their hands. The kunai flew out of their hand and into Naruto's hand. Naruto smirked and then dived at the 2 Jinan. One of the Jinan was still in shock that his kunai was now with Naruto. This caused him to get a cut along his waist. He fell to the floor clutching his wound. The other Jinan managed to dodge the strike. The Jinan started to go through hand signs for a fire jutsu. Naruto, seeing this, knew he had to get him out of the shop. Naruto channeled an extreme amount of chakra into his muscles and shot off towards the Jinan. He threw a haymaker into his chest, which sent the Jinan rocketing into the streets. The Jinan slammed through the curtains and into the streets. He slammed ruthlessly into the wall of another building. He fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto stood in the Dango bar with his fist outstretched. When he heard the satisfying crack of human against wall, Naruto relaxed. He was suddenly swept up into the arms of Anko. "Ah, my little hero saved me," Anko said with a sweet tone in her voice. Naruto blushed as Anko swung him back and forth. She then dragged him over to the table and slammed him back into his seat. "Now you are going to sit here and enjoy Dango with," Anko said. Naruto nodded happily and enjoyed his plate of Dango. Couple hours later, Naruto and Anko had spent the whole entire day together, first eating Dango, then going on to ramen, and then pranking the villagers. It was the most fun both of them have had in a while. Unfortunately, Naruto was still a child, so he became tired after a while. Anko saw this and decided to take him on. When she asked where he lived, she was surprised to learn that he lived in the Sarutobi clan. Nevertheless, she took him home. Currently, Anko was sitting in front of the Sarutobi's clan home. She had knocked several seconds ago and was now waiting for someone to answer. Suddenly Asuma opened the door. His eyes immediately shot to Naruto and anger started to fill in them. But then he saw Anko and calmed down. He figured Anko wouldn't do anything to hurt Naruto. "Ah, Anko. What are you doing with Naruto? Did he cause anyone trouble?" Asuma asked worriedly. Anko chuckled at Asuma's worry. "Nah. The brat and me just spent the day messing around. He's just tired," Anko said. Asuma sighed in relief that Naruto was okay. He carefully took him off of Anko. "Well, tell the brat I said hi and meet me back in that spot when he wants to hang out. Bye. Say hi to Kurenai for me," Anko said before shining away. Asuma sighed when he heard that someone else knew about his secret. He went back into the house and laid Naruto down. He then went back to his bedroom where he saw Kurenai still lying in bed. He hopped back into the bed. "Who was that?" Kurenai asked. "Just someone dropping Naruto off," Asuma sighed. Kurenai shrugged and then started to cuddle up to Asuma. Also, Anko said hi. "It has been 7 long years since we have last seen our hero. He had matured greatly in mind and body." Naruto now stood at an impressive 5 feet 8 inches. His muscles were very defined. His entire outfit had changed completely. He wore skin-tight pants that were completely white. He now had a hood that was also completely white. The pants and jackets were gifts from the Panther clan. Flashback: today was a week after Naruto's 10th birthday. He spent his birthday with Hiruzen, Asuma, and Anko. It was a lot of fun and he had received great gifts. But the gift he was really looking forward to was the Panthers clan gift. Miyonaka had told him a week ago that they were preparing his gift. Now Naruto stood in the clearing where he and Miyonaka usually trained. He was waiting for the specified time to come when he could summon Miyonaka. Naruto watched impatiently as the sun slowly set. He sighed in relief as the sun got to a certain point. Naruto bit his finger and started to go through the hand signs for the summoning jutsu. He slammed his hands on the ground and a seal ray spread on the clearing floor. A puff of smoke appeared and Naruto waited patiently for the smoke to clear. Miyonaka came out of the smoke with a scroll in her mouth. She walked slowly up to Naruto and dropped it at his feet. "This is a gift from the entire Panther clan. Each one of us thanks you for being our summoner," Miyonaka said. Naruto grinned and then picked up the scroll. He channeled chakra through the scroll and a puff of smoke surrounded his hands. When the smoke cleared, Naruto realized that he had two new things in his hands. It was a completely white jacket with completely white Anbu pants. "Try them on," Miyonaka said. Naruto grinned and then tried on the new clothes. He found that they fit perfectly on him. But he looked up with confusion at Miyonaka. "Well, while I do appreciate the clothes, these aren't really made for stealth," Naruto said. Miyonaka smirked when he heard Naruto say this. "Channel chakra into the clothes," Miyonaka said. Naruto looked in confusion at the request but did it anyway. He started to channel chakra into the clothes and looked at them. He watched in amazement as the clothes changed colors before his eyes. He noticed that they were perfectly matching up with the forest surrounding him. Those clothes were outfitted with seals that allow them to change colors. "This is perfect for any stealth mission," Miyonaka said. Naruto grinned at his amazing gift. He knew that this would be a great asset for his stealth. "Thank you, Miyonaka. Tell the rest of the clan that I really appreciate the gift," Naruto said. Miyonaka nodded and then disappeared. End of flashback. Naruto had foregone showing anyone his new clothes. He didn't find it necessary, so just decided to keep it to himself. Several other things had changed about Naruto too. Naruto now had almost complete mastery of his electromagnetic field. He could extend it to over 200 yards and retract it to 5 inches from himself. His sword skills weren't his strong suit, but he was still skilled with it. With no base style, he relied purely on his instincts. It had worked for him since he got the sword, so he found it unnecessary to change it. But Naruto's greatest strengths were his speed, stealth and his lightning jutsus. Due to the constant speed and stealth training Miyonaka had forced him through, his speed and stealth were off the charts. He was able to sneak into the Hokage Tower several times wearing bright orange and not be seen. He was able to kill someone quick enough that they wouldn't notice till it was too late. His lightning jutsus had come a long way from him not knowing how to control them. He was able to shape the lightning into any shape or form. If he channeled chakra into hand and touched someone, he could fill them with enough excess electricity that he could knock them unconscious or kill them. It was basically a built-in taser. Overall, Naruto was at a solid Chunin level. Due to his lack of strength, he wasn't able to reach Jonin level. Today was a very important day in Konoha. Today was the day that Konoha would welcome in a new generation of ninja. This generation was made out to be the best in several generations. They were mostly made up of the future clan heads of Konoha. It was also so the class Naruto was in. While today was a very important day for Konoha, it was not very important for Naruto. Naruto was not really looking forward to his first couple of months as a Jonin. After hearing about the missions assigned to fresh Jonin, Naruto was definitely not looking forward to them. Naruto was in his room making sure he was completely ready for the test. He had his special kunai on the inside of his jacket. His sword hung loosely against his back. Naruto, satisfied with his equipment check, put a senbon into his mouth. He slowly walked out of his room and walked out of the house. Once he got outside, he threw his hood and started to channel chakra into them. Slowly his body seemed to disappear. After making sure he was completely invisible, he made his way to the academy. At the academy, Naruto quietly snuck into the academy and into his assigned room. He took a seat in his usual desk and waited. He was an hour early, so he had plenty of time to wake. The first person to enter the room after Naruto was Iruka. Naruto's relation with Iruka had not improved at all. Actually, it had probably got worse. As Naruto grew older, he became more rebellious and began to strike out towards Iruka's biased behavior. "Why don't you just kill him now? It would save us a lot of trouble," Kyuubi said. One thing that hasn't changed about Naruto was his relationship with Kyuubi. Kyuubi still tried to influence him with suggestions of killing, raping and pillaging. Kyuubi still manipulated his dreams to show horrors. But Naruto managed survived through it all. Iruka went straight for his desk and took out a packet. Naruto, being the curious person he was, quietly walked over to the desk and looked over Iruka's shoulder. His eyes widened when he noticed that the papers Iruka had taken out was the test Naruto was scheduled to be taking today. Naruto grinned at his luck as Iruka took the test himself. After 20 minutes Iruka finished the test, put it back into his desk and walked out of the room. After making sure that Iruka was gone, Naruto quietly took the test out of the desk and copied down the answers on a separate piece of paper. When he finished he put the test back into the test and sat back into his seat with a content smile. Now he was waiting for his classmates. The first one of his classmates to enter the room was Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha was a very popular boy in the academy. He stood 5 feet 5 inches and his build was that of a swimmer. He had black hair and eyes. Ever since Sasuke's older brother, Itachi, slaughtered his whole clan, Sasuke had acted very emo-ish. He completely ignored any human interaction from anyone. He dedicated his time to training to avenge his clan. Naruto personally found it pathetic that he would ignore everybody all for some petty revenge that was impossible for him to do. The next two people to enter were Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akimichi. Now at first glance Shikamaru seemed like a lazy asshole. But Naruto quickly learned that he was actually a genius on an incredible level. But he was still a lazy asshole. Choji was a very plump boy that always seemed to have a bag of chips in his hands. He always hung out with Shikamaru and seemed very loyal. While not the smartest, he made up with it with his strength and stamina. The next person to enter the room was Hinata Hyuga. Now Hinata was always a mystery to Naruto. When he first met her all those years ago, she was shy and nervous all the time. But when the third year of academy started she had completely changed. She was cold and rigid like the rest of her clan. She treated everyone as if they were lower than her. It honestly made Naruto confused. The next person to enter was Kiba Inuzunka. Kiba was a member of the Inuzunka clan. Along with his dog Akamaru, they were a dangerous team. Kiba was very proud, arrogant and prideful. This caused him to act brash and sometimes, most of the time, very stupid. The next person to enter was Shino Aburame. Shino was a very quiet boy. Most of the class was slightly disgusted the boys. Special condition but Naruto had no problem with the boy. The last two people to enter were Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka. Sakura was a petite girl with fair skin. She had pink hair and an abnormal forehead. Ino was also a petite girl with fair skin. But she had blonde hair, blue eyes and a normal forehead. These two girls were the most pathetic in the class. They both were deeply in love with Sasuke Uchiha. This caused them to ignore their training and focus more Sasuke. Also due to Ino's parent-biased opinion against him, Ino would go out of her way to try and make Naruto's academy experience as bad as possible. She would constantly try to make fun of him, agitate him and sabotage him. Sakura, being Ino's best friend, joined in and started to annoy him. Luckily for them Yamanaka had forced patience and self-control into Naruto's head. "I still say you should have killed them all," Kyuubi said. The rest of the class shuffled into the room. Ino and Sakura immediately charged into the room and sat near Sasuke. They tried their best to garner his attention but Sasuke remained emotionless. Iruka walked into the room with a broad smile on his face. This was his greatest class that he has ever taught. A lot of them had amazing potential and all they needed was a join to bring that potential out. Iruka walked into the front of the class and cleared his throat to try and catch his students' attention. Unfortunately for him, his students were paying no attention to him. Iruka cleared his throat once more but louder. But still his students ignored him. A tick mark appeared on his forehead. "Shut the hell up you lazy excuse for ninjas," Iruka yelled. All of the students went quiet at Iruka's voice. Iruka grinned when he noticed he had their undivided attention. "Okay class. We will take roll and then we shall take the exam. I hope that you all prepared well for this," Iruka said. Iruka then began to take roll. He got all the way down to the list and reached Naruto's name. He paused for several seconds before saying his name. "Naruto Uzumaki," Iruka said. Silence greeted Iruka and the class. The class looked to where Naruto usually sat and saw that it was empty. "Has anyone seen Naruto?" Iruka asked with hidden mirth. He knew that if Naruto missed the exam, he couldn't be a ninja at least for another year. Nobody in the class has seen Naruto actually. Iruka's face actually broke into a small grin. "Well, I guess we just have to mow." Iruka had to stop in the middle of an explanation when a face interrupted him. Here a voice said. The class plus Iruka all looked towards the voice. They all looked at Naruto's usual seat. The air around the seat started to ripple and distort until it revealed Naruto sitting in the seat. He had his white jacket and white Anbu pants. The whole class looked in shock at Naruto's sudden appearance. The fuck just happened?" Kiba asked. Nobody has an answer for that. Naruto sat in his chair with a smug smirk on his face. Iruka cursed under his breath. Now he had to allow him to take the test. "Ah yes, Naruto. Thank you for gracing us with your presence," Iruka said. The class giggled at Iruka's sarcasm. Naruto ignored the jab by his teacher and laid his head down. Iruka continued the roll. In the middle of it, the co-teacher Mizuki appeared with an apologetic look on his face. Iruka gave him a joking look of anger before finishing the roll. He then reached into his desk and took out a several test. He slowly walked throughout the room handing out of the test. When he got to Naruto he gave him a hard look, which Naruto returned. He slowly handed him the test before walking away. Iruka finished passing out the test and stood in front of the class. "You will have a whole hour to complete the test. We will be stopping at 10 o'clock exactly. You may begin," Iruka said. The class all collectively shot their head down and started to take the test. Naruto smirked and then started to take the test. He breezed through the test, already having the answers memorized from earlier. After 10 minutes, Naruto turned his test over and leaned back in his chair. Iruka and Mizuki looked in shock that Naruto finished that early. But then they theorized that he probably just wrote random answers. Naruto had to wait for 50 minutes for his other classmates to finish. The first one to finish after him was Sakura, who finished 30 minutes into the test. Sasuke, Ino and Hinata soon finished after her. Shikamaru, Choji and Kiba were some of the last ones to finish. Once 10 o'clock came around, Iruka immediately stopped the test. He collected each of the tests as Mizuki led the children outside. They arrived at a massive target range. Scattered across the field were targets of different sizes and shapes. Iruka met Mizuki and the students outside in the range. He had a clipboard in his hands and a bucket of shuriken, kunai, and senbon. This is the accuracy part of the test. Ninja tools are very important tools of a ninja. They could save your life when you run out of chakra. There are 3 targets in the field. The closest is 1 point, the middle is 5 and the farthest is 10. You have 50 throws. Now Shino, you're first, Iruka said. Shino stepped up the drawn line and started to throw the ninja tools. After a minute of throwing he finished. Shino, that was very impressive. 401, Iruka said. Mizuki went and took all the tools out of the target. This rotation continued until it was Naruto's turn. Naruto stepped up to the drawn line and reached into his jacket. A small puff of smoke floated out of his jacket. Naruto pulled his hand out of his jacket, revealing it to be filled with all type of thrown weapons. Kunai, shuriken and senbon could be seen blurring through the air and implanted themselves into the target. Naruto watched in amazement, as each weapon seemed to be a kill shot. After several seconds of throwing, Naruto stopped. Iruka looked at the target and saw that it was riddled with weapons. He quickly counted the weapons and smirked. "That's only 4." A white blur came flying past Iruka and buried itself between the eyes of the dummy. 9. Iruka finished. Naruto stood with a smirk. The senbon made contact with the dummy. Iruka and Mizuki gasped when they noticed that Naruto had gotten a perfect score. "Wow. Great job, Naruto." 500, Iruka said, still in shock. "Show off," Kyubi said. Mizuki was about to go remove the weapons but stopped when he saw them shaking in the targets. The weapons went flying off of the target and towards Naruto. Naruto opened his jacket and the weapons seemed to fly into them. Naruto closed his jacket when the weapons were all in his jacket. Naruto looked back up and noticed that his senbon was still in between the eyes of the target. He increased his chakra slightly and then senbon went flying out of the target. The senbon went straight into Naruto's mouth where Naruto caught it with his teeth. Naruto grinned and then walked back over to his classmates. They all were in shock that the dead last had gotten a perfect and used some strange techniques to retrieve his weapon. Iruka continued the test nonetheless, still in shock that Naruto had gotten a perfect and his weird technique. The closet person to Naruto was Sasuke Uchiha, who only got 425. Sasuke seemed very annoyed at this fact. After all the students finished their test, Iruka led them to a small arena. He waited for Mizuki to arrive before explaining the next part of the test. This will be the taijutsu part of the test. You will be paired with a random student and you two will fight. Mizuki and I will be watching each match to see how you are doing. Remember, the object is to do well and not to win. If you are knocked out of the ring, you are eliminated from the match. Iruka stopped to make sure the students understood. Now, due to the odd amount of students, there will be a match of 3. I will need 3 people to volunteer for the match, Iruka said. Immediately Hinata and Sasuke's hand shot up. After that, nobody else volunteered. Naruto seeing this sighed and raised his hand. Iruka saw this and then wrote something down on his clipboard. "Okay, so Naruto, Sasuke and Hinata will be in the 3-way match," Iruka said. Sasuke and Hinata looked at Naruto with an arrogant look. Naruto calmly walked away and sat against a tree. He pulled his hood up and then disappeared from the class's sight. Shino vs Choji, Iruka said. Shino and Choji walked into the ring to begin the match. Now seeing that most of the girls were creeped out by Shino and Choji was fat, none of the girls were paying attention. Most of the girls went straight for Sasuke to try to garner his attention. But Hinata was not one of those girls. Ever since she started the academy, she had been disgusted by behavior of her fellow female classmates. They would spend hours fawning over the Uchiha while neglecting their training. This caused them to be weak and stupid. Now Hinata couldn't completely make fun of these girls because she was once one of the girls. But instead of Sasuke, it was Naruto. She would spend hours watching him without him knowing. He was the only thing that was allowing her to continue living. Of course things weren't that simple. Flashback. Today was the last day of the second year of the academy. They would take a series of tests to test their taijutsu, ninjutsu, weapon skills and knowledge. Hinata had taken the entire test and was fairly confident she did well. Hinata walked out of the academy and was about to start following Naruto. But as soon as she took a step towards him, a hand landed on her shoulder. She looked back and saw that it was her cousin, Neji. "Hinata-sama, Hiyashi-sama demands your presence immediately," Neji said. Hinata didn't even get a chance to reply before she was shunshined in front of her father's office. Neji roughly pushed towards the door, which Hinata went barreling through. Once she caught her balance, she looked up to see her father staring at her with a harsh look with papers in his eyes. "Hinata, do you know why I called you here today?" Hiyashi asked. Hinata nervously shook her head no. She really had no idea what she was here for. Hiyashi stood up and slowly walked around his desk. His every footstep seemed to crackle with the floorboard. Hiyashi stood in front of Hinata, staring down on her. Hinata felt like she wanted to cry as she slowly shrunk into her jacket. "I had your teachers immediately send me your test results today. You were ranked 6th out of the class," Hiyashi said. Hinata paled when she heard this. Her father had promised her that if she got anything lower the second that there would be bad consequences. "Hinata, I am greatly disappointed in you. I have tried to train you personally in the hope that you would improve. Unfortunately and obviously you have failed greatly. So I have but to allow the council to take over your training," Hiyashi said. Hinata paled ever more, if it was possible. She knew the council's training was leagues harder than her father. But Hinata tried to stutter out. "That's enough, Hinata. I don't want to hear you excuses. You are to report to the council," Hiyashi said. Hinata nodded as tears started to stream down her face. She slowly got up and walked to the door. She opened it and was about to close the door before Hiyashi spoke out. "I just want to let you know that I am very disappointed in you. Your mother expected great things in you. I have to say that she was completely wrong," Hiyashi said. Hinata slowly closed the door. That was the statement that changed her completely. For the summer vacation, Hinata was placed under the tutelage of the council's training. This basically consisted of her battling high-level Hyuga and attempting to beat them. The council was surprised however when Hinata actually defeated several of the Jonan-level Hyuga. They also noticed that she had a massive shift of behavior. She had grown cold to everyone, even her little sister. After training for 6 months, Hinata had gone through a huge shift. She was arrogant, prideful and strong. One thing that had also diminished was her obsession with Naruto. The council had pounded into her head that he was scum and was below her. Unfortunately it got to her and her obsession had almost been destroyed. End of flashback. While Hinata was reminiscing, Iruka had breezed through the rest of the matches. It was now hers, Sasuke and Naruto's turn. Hinata, Sakura and Naruto all walked into the ring and stood in opposite corners. Iruka jumped in the middle of the ring. "Are you ready?" Iruka asked. "Kill them. Tear them limb from limb. Feast upon their blood," Kyuubi said. Naruto had to admit it was a tempting offer but decided to ignore the suggestion. Hinata and Sasuke nodded. Iruka looked to Naruto and saw that he was yawning. Iruka sighed and decided to take that as a yes. "Begin," Iruka said while jumping out of the ring. All three fighters stood still as the match started. Hinata and Sasuke had immediately slid into a defensive stance. Naruto stood still with his hands in his pocket. Naruto sighed when he saw that neither one of his opponents were going to move. He should have guessed since both of their styles relied on reaction. "I am going to make this nice and quick since I have things to do today," Naruto said. The two other students watched, as Naruto seemed to slowly crouch down on the floor. They let out a small gasp when he disappeared from their sights seconds later. They both looked around nervously and trying to find Naruto. Sasuke keeled over, blood coming out of his mouth. Naruto flashed into sight with his fist buried in Sasuke's stomach. Naruto smirked and his hand shot up to Sasuke's neck. Naruto popped up, slightly shifted his center of gravity and threw Sasuke towards Naruto. Hinata's eyes widened in shock as Sasuke's limp body came flying towards her. She quickly sidestepped the body and watched him crash into the wall. Hinata had to wince as she saw blood start leaking out of his mouth. Hinata turned around to face Naruto but was met with a surprise. Naruto was flying through the air with his foot outstretched. Naruto's foot slammed into Hinata's face and sent her flying into the wall right along with Sasuke. Naruto gently landed on the ground. The whole entire class stood in shock. Naruto had managed to defeat Hinata and Sasuke in under 10 seconds. Iruka and Mizuki both looked in shock at Naruto. He had managed to defeat 2 of the top academy students. Mizuki ran over to the down students to see if they were all right. He noticed that both were unconscious. Sasuke had a broken rib and mild concussion. Hinata had a dislocated jaw and bruising all around her face. "I'll take them to the medical center," Mizuki said while slinging the 2 over his shoulder. Iruka nodded, still in shock. Mizuki disappeared in a slight burst of speed. Iruka finished the rest of the matches, but everybody was still in shock at the last match. Sasuke's fangirls tried their best to sneak away from the matches and check up on Sasuke, but Iruka would stop them each time. When Sakura and Ino finished their matches, they immediately paired up with each other and marched over towards Naruto. Naruto had his hood on, so he was completely ignoring the girls. The girls stood in front of him impatiently tapping their feet. A loud snore erupted from Naruto, showing that he had been asleep the entire time. "Naruto Baka, wake the hell up," Sakura yelled while reaching for Naruto's hood. Sakura's hand came within inches of touching Naruto before he shot up and grabbed her by her wrist. Sakura felt a high amount of voltage come surging through her body. Naruto remained holding Sakura's wrist for several seconds before letting go. Sakura fell to the ground, a twitching and slightly smoking mess. Naruto slid his hood off and stretched. He let out another loud yawn before looking down at Sakura. He made an agitated look before looking up at Ino with a bored look on his face. "Do you want something, Ino?" Naruto said. Ino contemplated just taking Sakura and leaving. Unfortunately, her ego and stupidity caused her to stay. "Actually, I do." "Why the hell did you do that to Sasuke-kun?" "You could have killed him," Ino yelled. "I fought him. It was a taijutsu match. It was his fault for getting his ass beat. If you want to yell at someone, yell at him," Naruto said. "Sometimes I wonder who is more sadistic, me or you," Kyuubi said. Ino was about to reply but heard Sakura moaning in pain. Fortunately for Sakura, Ino cared more about her friend's safety than chewing out the dead last. Ino huffed angrily before dragging Sakura away. Iruka led the rest of the class into the building. Naruto saw that Hinata and Sasuke were both seated. Naruto could see that Sasuke's midsection was wrapped in bandages. He also had several wrappings around his neck. Hinata's whole right side of her face was covered in bandages. They both looked dazed. When their eyes landed on Naruto, anger filled them quickly. Naruto smirked at the 2 and started to taunt them. He would raise his middle finger at them and flex his biceps. And it was honestly driving Hinata and Sasuke insane. The students filed into their seats as Iruka walked to the front of the classroom. Once the class was settled into the seats, Iruka began explaining the last part of the test. "This will be the last and most important part of the test. This is the ninjutsu part. It requires you to do the substitution, Henjin clone techniques. You will go alphabetically and one at a time. First is Shino," Iruka said before leading Shino out of the hallway. For the next 30 minutes, Naruto watched as his fellow students walk in and out of the classroom. Some of them walked in with proud smiles and headbands wrapped around different places on their bodies. Some of them walked into the room with defeated looks on their face and their head hung low. Finally, after 30 minutes, it was Naruto's turn. He went out into the hallway and immediately entered the adjacent room. He saw Mizuki and Iruka sitting behind his desk. The desk had headbands placed on it. "Okay, Naruto. Let's just make this simple. I really don't like you and you really don't like me. Let's not play around. Just do the required jutsus so we can remove each other from our size," Iruka said with an irritated tone in his voice. Naruto grunted before being enveloped in a puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, the 2 touches froze in fear at what Naruto hedged into. Naruto had turned into a pure white panther. The panther slowly stalked towards the teachers with a menacing look on its face. Iruka and Mizuki were about to attack it before it went up in a puff of smoke and turned back into Naruto. "Naruto, I said no jokes. I should fail you for disobeying my order," Iruka said. "But you can't. I did what you asked of me," Naruto said. Iruka growled because he knew this to be true. "What was that creature anyway?" Mizuki asked curiously. "That is none of your business," Naruto said. Mizuki growled at Naruto's vague answer. He then smirked when he came up with an idea. I'm sure that the Hokage would know, Mizuki said with a smirk. Actually, the Hokage does not know of these creatures. Now I would appreciate it if we could continue on with the test and not with my interrogation, Naruto said. Mizuki was about to reply, but a hand from Iruka stopped him. Mizuki growled and then settled back into his chair. Iruka waved his hand angrily, motioning Naruto to continue with the test. Naruto nodded, and with a hand sign and a cloud of smoke, the chair was now in his place. Naruto reappeared back in front of the duo seconds later. Now all Naruto had to do was to do the clone jutsu. The teachers watched, as Naruto seemed to take several deep breaths. Slowly sparks started to dance along Naruto's body. As more time passed, the sparks became more and more numerous. The teachers took cover as the sparks came rocketing towards them. They heard a loud poof and looked back over the table. Naruto stood in his same place. But now he had a clone standing next to him. The teachers could see that the clone was a perfect copy of Naruto. They both sighed at the fact that stood before them. Naruto. You pass. Iruka forced out. Naruto grinned before picking up a headband. He put his in his pocket and started to head for the door. He stopped as his hand reached the handle. You two are pathetic pieces of trash that I would love to kill at the moment. Fortunately for you, I have so much anger against both of you I doubt I can make it look like an accident. So I will just have to leave with this. Fuck the both of you, Naruto said before slamming the door shut. Naruto walked out of room and back into the classroom. All of the students looked at him with expectant eyes. When they saw no sight of a headband, most of them smirked. I knew you were going to fail. Your victory against me was just a mistake, you pitiful dead last, Hinata said arrogantly. Naruto walked up to her and reached into his pocket. Hinata muscles started to coil in trying to prepare to defend an attack from Naruto. Instead, Naruto's hand flew out with a headband enclosed in it. He waved it in front of Hinata's face before sitting in his usual seat. Maybe I should get you some glasses because it's obvious you can't see. And here I thought the Hyuga had all-seeing eyes. You just proved that wrong, Naruto said. You told her, Kyuubi said. Hinata growled once again at being looked at like an idiot. It seemed that Naruto was doing that to her a lot recently. The remaining students took the exam. When everyone was finished, Iruka and Mizuki walked out with proud faces. I am happy to say that 80% of you passed the exams. I am so proud to see the progress all of you made over the years, Iruka said with a wide grin on his face. Mizuki stepped up and started to talk to the class. Now for you who passed, your team will be announced at 9 a.m. next Friday, Mizuki said. Now you are all dismissed for the last time. Enjoy your ninja careers, Iruka yelled out. The passing students all charged out of the door cheering wildly. Naruto disappeared in the sunshine. Naruto reappeared sitting in a booth. He looked across from the booth to see Anko sleeping with her head down. Naruto smirked and then slowly leaned into her ear. Wake up, Anko-chan. Your Naru-kun is here to pleasure you, Naruto said a low and whispery voice. Anko shot up with a massive blush and a slight nosebleed. She looked up and saw Naruto smirking at her. She growled when she realized what Naruto had done. You're an asshole. You woke me up from a really good dream, Anko said with a growl. Did the dream have me in it? Naruto said. Anko leaned closer with a smirk on her face. And what if it did? Anko asked. Naruto slowly leaned even closer to Anko. I think I will have to make your dreams your reality, Naruto said with a seductive tone in his voice. Anko backed away blushing madly. Naruto backed away with a wide smirk on his face. He then dug into his pocket and slammed his headband on the table. Anko looked at the headband in shock. Congratulations, Gaki. You're finally a ninja, Anko yelled while wrapping Naruto in a gigantic hug. Naruto blushed at the feeling of his face against Anko's breast. After several seconds, Anko let go of the hug and sat Naruto back down into his seat. So do you know who is on your team? Anko asked while eating a piece of dango that mysteriously appeared in her hand. Naruto leaned back into the chair and closed his eyes. I actually don't know for sure. I have to wait till Friday to know. So I am free all this week, Naruto said. What do you plan on doing? I know you don't like to sit around and do nothing, Anko said with her hand on her cheeks. Actually, I planned on spending the week in the Forest of Death. I need to train up more on my survival skills. I doubt I will be able to do so while I am a Genin, Naruto said. Aw, I think you just want to be close to me, Anko said teasingly, and what about if I did? Naruto said with a smirk. The two stared at each for a while and then busted into a bout of laughing. The two continued to talk for hours and hours, just enjoying each other's company. By the time they were finished they had managed to eat a combined 36 plates of dango and 37 bowls of ramen. The two said their goodbyes before going their separate ways. Naruto was on his way to his apartment to get his survival supplies. Hiruzen had managed to get him an apartment several weeks after his birthday. It was isolated from the rest of the village. Just as Naruto was about to open his door, he felt a presence behind him. He turned around and saw an Anbu with a cat mask. "The Hokage requires your presence," the Anbu said. The Anbu didn't even wait for Naruto to reply before attempting to grab Naruto's shoulder. But the Anbu had to recoil when he felt a high amount of voltage run through his system. He stepped back in pain. Naruto looked at the stunned Anbu with a bored look on his face. "I think I can get there myself," Naruto said. Naruto put his hands in a hand sign and concentrated his chakra. A bolt of lightning struck near him seconds later. When the dust cloud, which was caused by the lightning strike, disappeared, Naruto was gone. In the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen was once again battling his immortal enemy, paperwork. He had sent his Anbu to collect Naruto. But he wanted to get as much of this dreaded paperwork over. Hiruzen heard a loud boom that sounded like thunder. He looked out of the window and saw that it was a clear day. A lightning strike crashed through his roof and impacted against the floor. When the lightning strike stopped, it was revealed to contain Naruto. "Hey old man. What do you want?" Naruto asked. Hiruzen was about to ask about the lightning but decided against it. He knew it would bring up some issues that he would rather not deal with now. "Naruto, you may want to sit down for this," Hiruzen said. Naruto shrugged at Hiruzen's weird behavior. Hiruzen took in a deep breath before speaking. "Naruto. You contain the Kyuubi." "Naruto, you are the container of the Kyuubi," Hiruzen said bluntly. Naruto sat there staring at the man. Hiruzen was waiting for Naruto to reply. Hiruzen tried to discern even a single emotion from Naruto's face but picked up nothing. Hiruzen heard Naruto sigh before looking at him. "I already knew that," Naruto said bluntly. Hiruzen looked in shock at the news. He had never expected the boy to already know he contained the Kyuubi. "How do you know? Who told you?" Hiruzen said hastily. "I figured it out by myself. Plus it really wasn't a well-kept secret," Naruto said. Hiruzen sighed and then seemed to sink even further into his chair. "So have you made contact with it?" Hiruzen asked. "Actually I have. It is a very annoying entity. It constantly encourages me to kill villagers while also threatening to kill me. Although his threats are hollow as I would never let him escape," Naruto said. "You're making look like a pussy." Kyuubi growled inside of Naruto's mind. Naruto grinned cheekily at Kyuubi's anger. When Hiruzen heard that Naruto had been talking to Kyuubi, he shot up in his chair. "Naruto, when did you start communicating with the Kyuubi? That process wasn't supposed to happen until you at least turned 18, Hiruzen said. "While I was in the coma. The lightning strike seemed to accelerate everything about my body, so I am not surprised that it affected the seal," Naruto said while crossing his arms. Hiruzen looked at Naruto but had to avert his eyes from the harsh glare Naruto was giving him. "So I am guessing you were mad about me not telling you about the Kyuubi earlier?" Hiruzen said. "Honestly, I don't really care. The information would not have and did not have any effects on me whatsoever. While I don't appreciate you keeping person secrets about me from myself, this secret holds no value. Now if this all, I will be taking my leave," Naruto said while promptly walking out the office. Hiruzen slumped into his chair when he heard the last part of Naruto's speech. "If only you knew, Naruto-kun, if only you knew," Hiruzen said while staring out of the windows of his office at the Hokage monument. "With Naruto, you know he is keeping secrets from you. I say we charge back into the old monkey's office and interrogate him," Kyuubi said. Naruto stopped to consider the offer before continuing his mad charge through the village. "Shut up, Kyuubi," Naruto yelled out loud. Naruto stopped and looked around. Did he just say that out loud? By the looks the villagers were giving him, he could probably say yes. Naruto huffed and continued walking through the village. After several minutes of mad stomping he reached his destination. Naruto jumped over the massive gate that surrounded the whole forest of death. Naruto landed crouched on the ground with a pissed-off look on his face. Naruto released a massive roar before bounding into the forest. "I love it when you act like this," Kyuubi said. In the forest a collective shiver ran through the creatures of the forest. Whoever had made that roar was pissed off and looking for blood. 1 week later, Naruto slowly walked through the gates of the forest with a huge grin on his face. Now the grin was disturbing itself, but the fact that Naruto was also covered with an obscene amount of blood seemed to magnify the creepiness. Naruto had spent the last week slaughtering the forest of the creatures and taking out his anger. He had survived purely on the plants of the forest and the meat of the creatures he killed. But now Naruto was calmer, albeit still a little pissed but much calmer. It was the day he was going to be assigned to his Jonin instructor. Naruto contemplated going into class covered in blood but decided not to. He didn't need to give Hiruzen Ant more reason to think that the Kyuubi possessed him. Who would think that little old me would try to hurt someone? Kyuubi asked with an innocent tone in his voice. Naruto let out a short giggle at Kyuubi's tone. Naruto arrived at his apartment and entered it. He discarded his bloody clothes and jumped into his shower. After a 10-minute shower he desperately needed, Naruto exited the shower with nothing but a towel. He went to grab his new clothes but got a surprise instead. Anko was currently sitting on his couch, watching TV and eating several packs of his ramen. When she heard him, she turned to him and waved at him. "Hey Naruto," Anko said, then turned back to watching TV. Naruto stood there awkwardly as Anko watched TV. After a while he shrugged and picked up his clothes. He activated the seals inside of the jacket and the blood seemed to burn off his clothes. After making sure he had everything, Naruto dropped his towel. Anko had so happened to be looking over at Naruto when he dropped his towel. So she had gotten a full view of Naruto's package. And what a package it was. The hell, Naruto? Put some clothes on, Anko said with a massive blush on her face. Naruto grinned and then turned to her. If possible, Anko blush increased. "Well, it is my apartment so I can prance around naked if I want to. If you don't like it you can leave," Naruto said with a smirk. Anko said nothing and then awkwardly returned to watching TV. Naruto grinned and they continued to get dressed. "So today's the day you get a Jonin sensei. Are you excited?" Anko asked. Naruto pulled up his pants and turned back to Anko. "Not really. I just hope my sensei is not a dick," Naruto said. Anko giggled at Naruto's blunt answer. Naruto finished getting dressed and sat down on the couch next to Anko. Anko looked confused at Naruto started to watch TV with her. "Oh, don't you need to be getting to the academy?" Anko asked. "No, I can be a little late," Naruto said. Anko shrugged at Naruto's behavior. For the next 2 hours Anko and Naruto sat on the couch, watching TV and eating ramen. Finally, after the 2 hours were over, Naruto decided it was time to leave. "Well, I think being 2 hours later is enough," Naruto said while suddenly standing up. Anko pounded at the fact that Naruto now had to go. "Agaki. Why are you leaving your Anko-chan so soon?" Anko said with bottom lip quivering. Naruto grinned and then softly patted Anko's head. "Sorry Anko-chan, but I gotta go meet my sensei," Naruto said. Naruto walked to the door and was about to open it but stopped. He looked back to Anko with a small blush covering his face. Anko looked confused at this. It usually took a lot to make Naruto blush. Naruto walked over to Anko with his hand behind his head. Anko. I was wondering if you would like to go on a date after my meeting today," Naruto said nervously. Anko looked in shock at Naruto's question. When it finally registered in her mind, a big blush spread through her face. A wide smile soon followed the blush. "I would love to go on a date with you," Anko said while smiling brightly. Naruto's nervous smile bursted into a massive grin. He smiled brightly and went for the door again. "I'm guessing you are staying here, so I will see you after my meeting," Naruto said while shutting the door. When Naruto left, Anko slumped into his chair with a happy sigh. Honestly, she had been waiting for Naruto to say that to her for a while, and not that it finally happened she was ecstatic. Anko continued watching TV all while having a soft smile. With Naruto, Naruto was currently walking through the streets of Konoha with a massive grin on his face. Now seeing a happy Naruto was a very weird sight. So in all, it was a very scary sight for the villagers. Naruto arrived at the academy with his grin still intact. He arrived at his homeroom and then quickly controlled his features. He threw his hood over his head and went inside of his room. Now Naruto really didn't expect anybody to be in the room. He honestly only expected Iruka to be there. But the occupants of the room surprised Naruto. Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno sat in the classroom alone. Sasuke was sitting in one of the corners of the room and Sakura seemed to be pestering him. Sasuke and Sakura turned to the door and hoped that their sensei had finally arrived. Instead, the hooded Naruto greeted them. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura locked their hoods. As soon as Naruto saw Sasuke and Sakura, he turned around and slammed the door shut behind him. "Are you fucking serious? I have to be paired up with those two. Is this some sort of punishment? I bet Hiruzen mad cause I was talking to the Kyuubi," Naruto said to himself. "I bet Kami hates you," Kyuubi said. A man was currently walking through the hall towards Naruto. He currently had his face buried in a book. Due to his perverted giggles and blush that flushed his face, one could clearly see that the book was perverted. He continued walking down the hallway. Due to the amount of anger Naruto was feeling, he was unaware of the quickly approaching figure. The two collided into each other and both of them went on the ground. "Watch where you're going," Naruto said angrily. The figure stood up and looked down at Naruto. Naruto looked up and finally got a good look at the man. The man wore Anbu-style pants and shirt. He had a green vest on. The man had spiky silver hair that stood up on its ends. His headband covered one of his hands. The man seemed to smile before reaching out with one of his hands. "I'm sorry. I guess this is a bad way to meet your new sensei. My name is Kakashi. I'm guessing you are Naruto, right?" Kakashi said. Naruto grabbed Kakashi's hand but immediately had to let go. Kakashi was once again sent to the ground as Naruto's electrical touch shocked him. Naruto's sweat dropped as his sensei twitched on the ground for several seconds before jumping back up perfectly fine. "Well, that stung a lot. Now let's go pick up your teammates," Kakashi said while starting to walk back to the classroom. Naruto groaned as he remembered who his teammates were. He reluctantly followed Kakashi back to his classroom. He saw him enter the room for several seconds before exiting. Kakashi looked back at Naruto and smiled. "Meet me on the roof," Kakashi said before disappearing in a sunshine. Naruto nodded and slowly crouched on the ground. When he heard Sasuke and Sakura come to the door, he exploded toward the door. A yellow blur seemed to fly through the stairwell. The blur slammed open the access door to the roof and stopped right in front of Kakashi. Kakashi looked in shock as the blur was revealed to be Naruto. "Damn, that was fast," Kakashi thought. Naruto leaned against the wall and closed his eyes. Kakashi took this time to examine Naruto. From what he was seeing so far, the academy records were completely wrong. They said Naruto was a brash child that had minimal potential in being a ninja. But yet the kid was able to move near low Jonin speeds while he was an academy student. He also seemed very calm and collective. Kakashi also saw an abnormality in Naruto. He could see sparks actually flying off of Naruto's skin. It seemed like Naruto was creating his own electrical energy and giving it off through his skin. Finally, after several minutes of awkward silence, Sakura and Sasuke arrived. They took their seats next to Naruto, Sasuke to his right and Sakura to his left. Once Kakashi saw that his team was situated, he began to talk. "Well, hello everyone. One of you already know me but the rest don't. I am Kakashi Hatake and I might be your Jonin sensei," Kakashi said. Sakura gained a confused look when she heard might. "What do you mean by might?" "We passed the exams," Sakura yelled out. Kakashi threw another smile at the Jonin. "Well, you see, that wasn't really the exam. It was more like a ruse to weed out the weak Jonin. The test I will be giving you will be a survival test," Kakashi said. The news shocked the three Jonins. They all thought that this was the end. Only a third of the academy students will actually pass the real Jonin exam. "But I don't think you need to worry about that. Not a single Jonin team has ever passed my exam," Kakashi said. This sent the Jonin further into shock. All the work they put in the academy could be washed down the drain if they fail this test. "Well, enough talking about the exams. Let's introduce ourselves. You can go first, Pinky," Kakashi said while pointing at Sakura. Sakura huffed at Kakashi's nickname. "Why don't you go first, sensei? Just so we can know how we should do it," Sakura asked. Kakashi sighed then nodded. "Well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes are a little too graphic for you. My dislikes I have a lot. My hobbies are reading. My dream is once again a little too graphic for you," Kakashi said while ending it with an smile. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura all sweat dropped at the very vague introduction. Kakashi pointed at Sakura to signal her to go. "Well, my name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are..." Sakura stopped and looked at Sasuke. She let out a small giggle and had a small blush covering her face. "My dislikes are perverts, rapist and Naruto baka." "Well, fuck you too," Naruto shot back at her. Sakura glared at Naruto before continuing her introduction. "My hobbies are reading and..." She stopped once again to stare at Sasuke. "My dream is to..." She stopped again to stare at Sasuke. She continued to state at Sasuke. Naruto and Kakashi sweat dropped at the girl's behavior. Sasuke looked ahead, unaware of the girl that was next to him. "Ook. Well, that was weird. On with you, emo boy," Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke grunted at Kakashi's nickname for him. "My name is Sasuke Uchiha. My likes are few and none of your business. My dislikes are numerous and include this whole team. My hobbies are training. And my dream is to kill a man and restore my clan," Sasuke said with a monotone. Once again Naruto and Kakashi swear dropped at the weird intro. Sakura looked in awe at Sasuke's cool intro. Well, that was interesting. Last and not least is little Speedy here, Kakashi said while looking at Naruto. Naruto looked at Kakashi with a mad look in his eyes. Please don't call me that, Hatake, Naruto said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are ramen, jaguars and Onko-chan. My dislikes are windy days and spiders. My hobbies are training, eating ramen and hanging out with Onko-chan. My dream is none of any of your business, Naruto said. Kakashi nodded at the intro. That was the most normal one so far. Okay, those introductions so weren't real. Well, you are to meet me at Training Ground 7 at 5 AM exactly. If you are late, that will count as an automatic fail. Bye now, Kakashi said before disappearing in a sunshine. The three students blinked owlishly at their teacher's sudden disappearance. Naruto, guessing that they were dismissed, disappeared in a burst of speed. Only Sasuke and Sakura remained of the roof. Sakura saw that only her and her crush were left on the roof. She decided this was the best time to ask Sasuke out on a date. Sasuke-kun, I was wondering if you would like to go on a date with me? Sakura asked while looking down with a blush on her face. Sakura waited several for Sasuke to reply but heard nothing. She looked up and saw that Sasuke had left without her knowing. She fumed in anger when she realized that her crush had once again escaped from her grasps. I will find you, Sasuke-kun. Sakura yell ranged through the village. Somewhere in the village a chill went down Sasuke's spine. He had a bad feeling something bad was going to happen. With Naruto, Naruto had arrived at his apartment steps. He walked up to it and opened the door. He saw that Anko was still on his couch but now she was sleeping. Naruto smiled and then slowly walked up to her. He slowly shook her shoulder to wake her up. Don't wake her up. Take her as yours while she sleeps, Kyuubi said. Anko, it's time to oomph. Anko tackled Naruto to the ground. He suddenly found a kunai to his neck. Anko looked at him with drowsy eyes. When he finally got a good look at him, a sheepish look appeared on her face. She slowly got off of him and helped him up. Sorry, Naruto-kun. I sort of just let my instincts to take over, Anko said while helping Naruto up. Don't worry about it, Anko-chan. Are you ready for our date? Naruto said with a smile. Anko nodded and Naruto stuck his arm out. Anko looped her arm through Naruto's and the two headed out of the door. They walked onto the streets and were immediately bombarded by a wave of dirty looks. But Naruto and Anko paid no attention to the villagers' looks. After several minutes of walking, they arrived at a restaurant. The restaurant had a giant sign that said, Hidden Leaf. Anko looked at Naruto with surprise clearly shown on her face. The Hidden Leaf? Never expected something so fancy. How did you even get a reservation here? Anko asked. Naruto smirked and let out a short laugh. Don't you worry about that, Anko-chan. Just know that I always have my ways, Naruto said while leading Anko into the restaurant. As soon as the two entered the restaurant and immediately knew they stood out. Everybody in the restaurant was either wearing a kimono or a dress. Naruto and Anko stood out with Naruto's completely white clothes and Anko's trench coat and her fishnet. Naruto walked up to the podium that was in the front of the restaurant. He was greeted by a sneer from the man that ran the podium. What are you doing here, boy? We don't serve your or her kind here. The man said. Naruto grinned and started to walk up to the man. He got within inches of him before stopping. Suddenly Naruto's hand shot out and grabbed the man's head. Naruto then slammed the man's head into the podium. If you would kindly look on that little list there, you would see that there is a reservation listed for Uzumaki. Now I would appreciate it if you would kindly lead us to our table, Naruto said. The man looked at the list as best as he could and saw that Uzumaki was listed there. He sighed in defeat and Naruto let go of his head. The man fixed his uniform before grabbing two menus. If you would kindly follow me. The man said before leading the two through the restaurant. As they were walking through the restaurant, they both received dirty looks. But Naruto would return the look with ones of his own that was harsher. After several seconds of walking, the two arrived at a table that was at the back of the restaurant. The two sat down and the waiter walked away. As soon as they sat down, Anko began to stare intently at Naruto. After a while Naruto looked up from the menu and saw that Anko was staring at him. What? Naruto asked. How in the world did you get a reservation here? The waiting line for this place is days long. Anko asked. Well, I just used my power of persuasion to persuade the owner to let me and my date get a giggle. I gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, Naruto said. Flashback, Naruto was currently standing on the roof of the Hidden Lead. You see, he was planning to ask Anko on a date and surprise her with bringing her here. Naruto had plenty of money to take her here but he doubted they would let him in. So he decided to have a little talk with the owner. It was late at night and the Hidden Leaf had just closed several minutes ago. The owner was the only one left in the building. He walked out of the building and locked it behind him. He managed to take 2 steps before Naruto dropped onto him. Naruto grabbed his shoulder and electrocuted him. The man fell unconscious. Naruto picked up the man and disappeared in a sunshine. Several hours, the Hidden Leaf owner groggily started to wake up. He immediately tried to move his arms but found them bound. He looked behind him and saw that he was tied to a tree. He started to panic when he realizes he was tied to a tree in the middle of the night. "Help me, help me." The man started to yell loudly. Suddenly the air around the man started to shimmer in front of the man. Naruto appeared in front of the man. When the owner saw who was in front of him, a sneer appeared on his face. "I knew it. You are a demon. You captured me to kill me. The villagers will come for you. You'll be the fur." The man was silenced by the back of Naruto's hand against his cheek. "Will you just shut the hell up? I am not here to kill you," Naruto said, agitated. He really wanted to be asleep right now. "Then why did you drag me here?" the man said, confused. Naruto crouched down and came face to face with the man. "All I want is a reservation to your restaurant for Friday." "That is it," Naruto said. The man suddenly busted out into a bout of laughter. The laugh was mocking and was clearly getting on Naruto's nerves. The man stopped laughing and looked at Naruto with a "Are you serious?" look on his face. "If you think I will risk my restaurant's reputation just to get you a reservation, then you are wrong. You will never dine in my restaurant, you demon," the owner said with finality in his voice. Naruto gave a short chuckle and then stood up to his full height. "Hey, I figured you would say something like that," Naruto said. Naruto held up his hand and balled it up into a fist. Suddenly a massive amount of sparks started to fly off of his hand. Naruto then looked at the man with a bored look on his face. "Now we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The easy way requires you to give me the reservations and you walk away unharmed. The hard way requires me to send hundreds of thousands of volts into your body and then you give me the reservation. The choice is yours. Either way I am going to have fun," Naruto said. The man's eyes darted in between Naruto and Naruto's fist. After several seconds of hard thinking, the man let out a sigh of defeat. "You can have the reservations," the man said. Naruto grinned and started to untie the man. Once untied, the man stood up with a groan and started to stretch. He looked towards the village and then turned back to Naruto. "Hey, could you give me R?" The man was interrupted by Naruto's fist slamming into his cheek. The man fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto looked down onto the unconscious man. "Don't you think that was a little harsh?" Kyuubi asked in a sarcastic voice. "DCH, bastard deserved it," Naruto said before picking up the man and shining away. Naruto appeared in front of the Hidden Leaf and dropped the man roughly to the ground. He then shined away, leaving unconscious man lying in the middle of the street. Naruto then walked down the street, disappearing into the night. End of flashback. Anko busted out in a fit of laughter as Naruto retold his story. The two continued their date for 2 hours before walking out of the restaurant. Naruto walked Anko home. They were now standing on Anko's doorstep. "I really appreciate this date, Naruto-kun," Anko said. Naruto gave off a light smile and rubbed the back of his head with his eyes closed. Naruto's eyes suddenly flew open as Anko's lips connected with his. Naruto felt Anko deepen the kiss and deepened it himself. The two remained kissing for several minutes before they came up for air. Anko smiled at Naruto before walking into her apartment. Naruto walked through the village the happiest he has ever been. Next day, a loud and annoying alarm clock could be heard ringing throughout the apartment. The apartment continued to ring for several minutes before a kunai zipped towards it and smashed it. The kunai then zipped back under the covers and into the hands of the owner. A groan could be heard from under the covers. The covers were suddenly thrown off to reveal Naruto writhing on the bed. Naruto groggily got up out of the bed and went into the shower. After a 10-minute shower, Naruto stepped out and got dressed. After eating a breakfast of toast and rice, Naruto began his trek through the village. Now it was only 5 a.m. so the streets were relatively deserted. After a 10-minute walk, Naruto arrived at the training ground. The training ground consisted of a large clearing that was surrounded by a very dense forest. The clearing had a medium-sized lake that was kept in the back of it. Naruto walked to one of the thicker trees and climbed up it. He leaned against one of the thicker branches of the tree, threw his hood over his eyes and swiftly went to sleep. Couple hours later, a couple of hours had gone past and several things had happened. Sasuke and Sakura arrived at the same time and began their daily ritual of Sakura pestering him and Sasuke ignoring her. Eventually Kakashi arrived in a flutter of wind and leaves. He got his yelling from Sakura before dropping his book. He gained a confused look as he didn't spot Naruto. And this is where we drop in. Has anyone seen Naruto? Kakashi said. Sakura, Sasuke and Kakashi all got a shock as Naruto suddenly appeared standing next to Sasuke and Sakura. Kakashi's sweat dropped at Naruto's sudden entrance. "I'm right here, sensei," Naruto said. Kakashi nodded and then started his introduction. "Well, as you know, today is your survival test. The main objective is to get these 2 bells," Kakashi said. Kakashi reached into his weapons pouch and pulled out 2 metal bells. Kakashi then saw Naruto grin out of the corner of his eyes. Kakashi's eyes widened as he felt Naruto's chakra spike very suddenly. Suddenly the bells came flying out of Kakashi's loose grip and into Naruto's hands. "Done," Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura looked at Naruto in shock since he had just technically completed their test. Kakashi's sweat dropped at the fact that Naruto had taken the bell so easily from him. "So am I a Jonin yet?" Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. "No, I didn't say go yet." "Yes, that's the reason," Kakashi said while nervously rubbing the back of his head. Naruto sighed and then threw the bells back at Kakashi. Kakashi put the bells back into his pouch. "Well, seeing as we are running late, let me just fast forward this. As you can see, there are only 2 bells. That means that 2 of you will pass. The other one will go back to the academy. So that the jest. Your test starts in 3,2,1 go," Kakashi said as he rushed the last part. Sasuke and Sakura immediately dashed into the forest. Kakashi looked at Naruto expectantly as he stood before him. "You're not very smart, are you?" Kakashi asked while flipping through his book. Kakashi heard Naruto let out a small laugh. Kakashi looked up from his book and saw Naruto throw his hood over his head. Kakashi's eyes widened as Naruto disappeared right before his eyes. Kakashi immediately put his book away and dropped into a defensive stance. He began to look around in an attempt to find the invisible Naruto. Suddenly Kakashi felt a strong punch come across his foot. Kakashi was lifted off his feet and into the air. Kakashi managed to right himself before landing in a crouch. "You know, I could just end this right now?" A voice rang out from behind Kakashi. Kakashi suddenly twisted around with a kunai in his hand. He hit nothing but air. "I expected more from an elite Jonin." The voice ranged out again. Kakashi turned around once again, but this time had his fingers up towards his mouth. A torrent of flames shot out from his lips and flew through the air. Unfortunately for Kakashi, he still didn't hit Naruto. So close yet so far. Naruto's voice ranged out once again. Kakashi growled and then reached into his pouch. His arm came flying out and several kunai and shuriken were sent flying through the air towards the voice. The weapons sailed through the air and flew uselessly into a tree. "This is getting boring," Naruto said. Now Sakura and Sasuke were currently seeing a strange sight. Their sensei was seemingly attacking an invisible opponent. They watched as he threw kunai, shurikens and jutsus toward the enemy. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't working. Kakashi had just got finished throwing another waves of weapons towards his invisible students, and honestly he was starting to piss him off. No matter how fast Kakashi reacted, Naruto managed to avoid his attacks. Kakashi sighed in defeat when he realized what he must do. He went through several hand signs and casted a small genjutsu over his face. He then pulled up his headband to reveal that he had a fully matured Sharingan in his eyes. Kakashi looked around in an attempt to find Naruto. He suddenly stopped when he detected Naruto's chakra signature. "Gotcha," Kakashi said before taking off towards Naruto. Naruto grinned when he realized that Kakashi finally figured out a way to detect him. He quickly slipped into a defensive stance and waited for Kakashi. Kakashi reached Naruto and threw a heavy punch at Naruto. Naruto ducked under the punch and grabbed onto Kakashi's arm. Kakashi's eyes widened as he felt a gigantic amount of voltage enter his system. Kakashi attempted to get out of the grip, but Naruto was too strong. Naruto watched as Kakashi struggled to escape his electrifying grip. Naruto's eyes widened, however, when the Kakashi he was holding went up in a puff of smoke. 1,000 years of pain. Naruto heard Kakashi yell behind him. Kakashi was as Naruto went flying into the air. He was however disappointed when that Naruto exploded in a display of sparks. Kakashi turned around as he saw what seemed to be a lightning bolt approaching him fast. Kakashi ducked quickly as the lightning bolt went sailing through the air. Kakashi watched as the lightning bolt hit a tree and collapsed it easily. "Don't want to be hit by that," Kakashi thought to himself. Kakashi turned around and started to run towards Naruto. Naruto grinned and then reached into his jacket. Kakashi's muscles tightened as he prepared to dodge any projectiles thrown towards him. Kakashi's suspicion was right. Naruto's hand blurred out from his jacket and launched dozens of weapons towards Kakashi. Kakashi grinned and then proceeded to duck and dodge through the wave of weapons. Kakashi reached Naruto and easily pinned him to the ground with a kunai against his neck. "Do you forfeit?" Kakashi asked. Kakashi watched as Naruto's smile seemed to increase. Kakashi's eyes widened as he felt Naruto's chakra spike once again. Kakashi turned around and saw that all of the weapons Naruto had thrown were now coming back towards him. Kakashi managed to sunshine himself into a nearby tree. Kakashi watched as the weapon slammed against the still Naruto. He sighed in release when he realized that Naruto was only a clone. Kakashi looked around the training ground to find Naruto. He found him standing in the middle of the training ground. Kakashi watched as Naruto threw a kunai into the base of the tree he was occupying. Kakashi heard Naruto say something and felt his chakra spike once again. Kakashi looked in confusion as nothing happened. Kakashi then heard a loud boom and looked up. Kakashi's eyes widened as he saw a bolt of lightning come down from the sky and towards him. Kakashi hopped from the tree and onto the ground as the lightning hit the tree. The tree fell to the ground in a burning and scorched mess. Kakashi looked back towards Naruto with a shocked look into his eyes. A Jonin should have been able to do those sorts of jutsus. Kakashi looked at Naruto cautiously. He was waiting for Naruto to make a move. Kakashi's muscles tightened as Naruto reached into his jacket. Kakashi's eyes widened as Naruto pulled out the two bells. He looked down in confusion at the two bells he had on his hips. He watched as they both went up in a puff of sparks. "Like I said, I could have ended this minutes ago," Naruto said. "But how?" Kakashi said, honestly confused. Naruto grinned as he saw Sakura and Sasuke come out of the forest. "I never gave you the bells back. I used my sleight of hands to switch the real bells with the lightning clones hinged as bells. You just so happened to fall for it," Naruto said. Kakashi face-palmed himself for falling for such a simple trick. He then looked up at Naruto with an eye smile. "So who will you give to other bell to Naruto? Only one of your teammates can go with you," Kakashi said. Naruto turned towards Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura had a very conflicted look on her face. It seemed like she didn't want Sasuke to fail, yet she still wanted to pass. Sasuke had a look that said, "You better give me that damn bell or I will kill you." Naruto sighed and then threw a bell each towards Sasuke and Sakura. "I choose both," Naruto said. Kakashi gave an eye smile towards Naruto. He then looked at all of his students. "Congratulations. You're officially Jonin," Kakashi said. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.